Solving equations by addition or subtraction. Solving simultaneous equations of two unknowns can be solved by combining the equations by addition or subtraction to make one equation with one unknown. Now let's solve for the following for x and y. So we have two equations with two unknowns. So we can't solve until we have one equation with one unknown. So in order to do this, we're going to be adding these two together in order so that either x or y is 0, and we're left with just the other unknown and a number to solve for that unknown. So when we look at this, we see we have 2x and 4x. So what I would do first is multiply equation 1 by 2. So you would go 2 times 2x plus 5y, and then 2 times 60, because we multiply both sides by 2. Then on the bottom, we're left with just 4x plus 8y is equal to 100. So when we go ahead and solve for this, 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 5y is 10y, and 2 times 60 is 120. Next we have 4x plus 8y is equal to 100. Now our next step will be to either do addition or subtraction. But we want to use subtraction because if we go 4x minus 4x, we get 0. So we need to subtract this whole thing. So that means we're taking this minus sign and we're going to distribute it to each one. So all these essentially will become negative. So now we have 4x minus 4x, so that's 0x. Then we have 10y minus 8y, so we get 2y. Then we have 120 minus 100, so we're left with just 20. So as we have 0x, we only have now one unknown, and so we just need to solve for them. So when we have 2y is equal to 20, we go ahead and divide by 2 on both sides. So now y is equal to 20 divided by 2, which is 10. So we know y is equal to 10. Now we're going to go ahead and take this number and substitute into either equation. So let's go ahead and just substitute into equation 1. So we have 2x plus 5. Then instead of putting y, we'll put 10, because that's what y is equal to, which is equal to 60. Now we can go 2x, now 5 times 10 is 50, which is equal to then 60. So then we need to subtract 50 from both sides to get x by itself. So 60 minus 50 is 10. Now we can go ahead and divide by 2, and we're left with x being 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So x is equal to 5. So we would say x is 5 and y is 10. Now let's do another example. Example 2, solve for x and y. We have 5x minus 3y, which is equal to 22. Then we have 2x minus 4y, which is equal to 6. Solve for the following. So we're going to solve for x and y. So how we're going to do that is we need to do addition or subtraction. So what we can first do is I just like to get rid of the x's. So we're going to multiply this first equation by 2, and we're going to multiply the second equation by 5. This way we have 10x on the top in the first equation and then also in the second equation. So let's go ahead and multiply that out. So 2 times 5x is 10x. 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, and then it's y. And 2 times 22 is 44. Then we have 5 times 2x, so that's 10x. 5 times negative 4y is minus 20y. 5 times 6 is 30. Next, we need to go ahead and subtract this second equation from the first. So if we go 10x minus 10x, it's 0x. Now this minus gets transferred over to this minus 20. So now it's positive 20. So we have minus 6y plus 20. So that would be plus 14y. And then we have 44 minus 30. So we're left with 14. Now we have 14y, which is equal to 14. Now we need to get y by itself. So we need to go ahead and divide by 14 on both sides. So now we have y, which is 14 over 14, so that's just equal to 1. So y is equal to 1. Now we can go back and put this into either equation. So let's use equation 2. And then we have 2x minus 4y is equal to 6. Now we have 2x minus 4. We're going to plug in 1 for y, and then we have equals 6. Then we have 2x. Now we have 4 times 1, so that's minus 4, which is equal to 6. Then, in order to get x by itself, we need to add 4 to both sides. So we're left with 2x. We cross these out, which is equal to, then 6 plus 4 is 10. Now we need to go ahead and divide by 2 on both sides. So x is equal to now 10 over 2, which is 5. So we have x is equal to 5. And y is equal to 1 for both of these equations. Now we can go ahead and check to make sure we did this right. So if we go ahead and plug this in to equation 2, so if we have 2 times 5 minus 4 times 1 is equal to 6. Is that correct? So we get 10 minus 4, which is equal to 6. So we have 6 equal to 6. So this verifies. Now let's look at equation 1. So we have 5, and then we put in 5 for x, minus 3, 1 for y is equal to 22. So 5 times 5 is 25, minus 3 equals 22. So 22 is equal to 22. So this checks out. So we know we did it correct. Now let's do one final example.